Arjun sat on the porch of his small house, staring at the horizon with weary eyes. The golden sunset painted the sky in shades of orange and red, but none of its beauty could ease the heaviness in his heart. Life had been cruel to him, or so he thought. He was 30 years old, unemployed, and burdened by the weight of countless failures. Every attempt he made, whether starting a small business, applying for jobs, or even pursuing his childhood dream of becoming a writer, ended in disappointment. "Maybe I'm just not meant for anything," he muttered bitterly to himself. His mother, who had been silently watching him from the doorway, approached and sat beside him. Her wrinkled face carried both wisdom and kindness. Placing her hand on his shoulder, she said softly, "My son, do not lose hope. God has a plan for everyone. Perhaps his plan for you has not yet unfolded." Arjun shook his head. "That's what everyone says when they have nothing real to offer. I've tried everything, Ma. Nothing works. Maybe God has forgotten me." His mother smiled gently. "God never forgets his children. Sometimes he makes us wait, sometimes he tests us, and sometimes he leads us through paths we don't understand until the end. But remember, even the smallest seed grows into a mighty tree when the time is right." Arjun sighed. He wanted to believe her, but doubt consumed his soul. One evening, frustrated and restless, Arjun decided to go for a walk in the nearby forest. The cool breeze brushed against his face, carrying with it the smell of earth and wildflowers. As he wandered deeper into the woods, he heard a faint sound, like someone crying. Curious, he followed the sound until he saw a young boy sitting by a broken bicycle. The boy's knee was bleeding and his face was wet with tears. Arjun rushed toward him. "Hey, are you all right?" The boy sniffled. "I fell off my bike. My leg hurts and I can't walk properly." Arjun quickly tore a piece of cloth from his shirt and tied it around the boy's knee to stop the bleeding. He then carried the boy on his back and walked toward the village. On the way, the boy clung to him tightly and whispered, "Thank you, Baya. I was so scared." For the first time in a long while, Arjun felt something stir in his heart. Purpose. It wasn't grand, it wasn't glorious, but it was real. He had helped someone in need. When they reached the village, the boy's parents rushed out, overwhelmed with gratitude. "We don't know how to thank you," the father said, folding his hands. "If you hadn't helped, who knows what would have happened." Arjun simply nodded, his eyes softening. That night, as he lay in bed, he thought deeply. Perhaps his life wasn't as meaningless as he believed. Maybe he didn't need wealth or fame to matter. Maybe he just needed to touch lives, even in small ways. Days passed, and Arjun found himself helping more people around his village. He fixed a neighbor's broken fence, taught children who couldn't afford school, and spent time with the lonely old man who lived down the street. With each act of kindness, he felt lighter, happier. One day, while teaching a group of children under the shade of a banyan tree, an elderly gentleman stopped by. He watched quietly as Arjun explained a math problem to a little girl who struggled with numbers. After the class ended, the man approached him. "You have a gift," he said warmly. "You teach with patience and heart. Have you ever thought of becoming a teacher?" Arjun laughed bitterly. "Who would hire me? I don't have fancy degrees or certificates." The man smiled. "Degrees are important, yes, but what matters most is the ability to truly teach. I run a small school in the neighboring town. We need someone like you. If you're willing, I would like to offer you a position." Arjun was stunned. For a moment he couldn't believe what he was hearing. A real job doing something that brought him joy. It felt like a miracle. With gratitude in his eyes, he nodded. "Yes, I would love to." And so Arjun began his journey as a teacher. He poured his heart into his work, guiding the children not only in studies, but also in life lessons. The students adored him, and the parents respected him. Slowly, he became a pillar of the community, someone people turned to for advice and encouragement. Years later, as he stood before his classroom, watching his students laugh and learn, Arjun remembered the dark days when he had almost given up. Tears welled up in his eyes, but this time, they were tears of joy. That evening, He sat once again on his porch, just as he had years ago, gazing at the horizon. His mother, now older and frailer, sat beside him. "You see, Ma," he whispered, "you were right. God did have a plan for me. I just couldn't see it then." His mother smiled, her eyes twinkling. "God's timing is always perfect. He never makes mistakes. You only had to trust him." Arjun nodded. He realized that every failure, every disappointment, and every delay had led him to this very moment. If he had succeeded in his earlier pursuits, he might never have discovered his true calling. His struggles had shaped him into the man he was meant to be. The sun dipped below the horizon, and the stars began to twinkle in the sky. Arjun closed his eyes, his heart overflowing with peace. He finally understood that God's plan was not always about wealth, fame, or grand achievements. Sometimes it was simply about being where you were needed most, touching lives and spreading kindness. And in that realization, he found his true success.